All right, ladies and gentlemen of the 118 scale, 3.75 inch, 4-inch modern action figure community. I am back again with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Victor W. Sikorsky, codename Lift Ticket. Lift Ticket's rank is a W-2 warrant officer. He is known as one of the best helo pilots in the game. He is directly responsible for dropping troops into battle and rescuing troops from behind enemy lines. He was a member of the Army before joining the G.I. Joe team. Lift Ticket, seen before you. His first comic book appearance was in issue number 49, and his first television appearance was in, I believe, Arise Serpentor Arise. I remember watching that cartoon as a kid, and this dude was just a legend to me. I mean, he was everything that a soldier was, and honestly, man, I mean, he was the coolest thing ever. He was released as a toy in 1986, boxed with the G.I. Joe Tomahawk, which was arguably one of the most amazing G.I. Joe vehicles to ever hit the store shelves. Arguably in my top 5 vehicles of all time. I never did get my hands on one. When I was a kid, my family didn't have a whole lot of money, so me getting that was going to be out of the question. But a dreamer could dream. I remember getting my hands on, I think it was the Sears catalog or the Toys R Us catalog around Christmas, and it was in there, and I just kept that catalog. I think I probably had that catalog half of my childhood until it fell apart. And I just would, just wish that I could get my hands on the Tomahawk. But anyway, never did. I did have a friend who had one, but I didn't see him very much, and I didn't get to really. I played with that thing twice, and once, sorry, and just knowing that thing was out there and being able to get my hands on it just that once really reconfirmed that I really wanted one, but I still never got one. So what you have here before you is Lift Ticket, the modern offering. And if you know as a kid and you saw Lift Ticket as a kid, the retro version, you would see that this one was a very good look. They really did a good job at recapturing him in the modern form. So his last name apparently is a representation or reference to a helicopter company that made the first mass-produced helicopters, which is pretty interesting. You know, it's very interesting how G.I. Joe, and I believe it was Larry Hama who was making these cards and stuff back then and writing the comic books and stuff, how they really captured realities in these characters. This particular character was very cool. I remember watching the cartoons, and I think I said this already, but I remember watching the cartoons, and just some of the things he would do and some of the things he would say really represented Army. Like thinking back to it now, he really represented the Army for me. I don't get me wrong, I've never served in the military in any capacity, but I have a bunch of family members who did, and he really reminds me of some of my family members who were in the Army, just how he took charge of things. I think my favorite episode was when he had to fly Lieutenant Falcon in for his punishment out in the middle of nowhere, and he kicks Lieutenant Falcon out of the Tomahawk, and he's just a bad man right there. That's a real that was a real funny scene right there. I don't know who figured that one out or who put that out, but that was really funny. Anyway, moving right along, he was also really awesome in the episode $1 Million Medic. If you haven't seen that one, he's apparently he has this like love-hate relationship with Lifeline, and they kind of hang together in that episode a lot. So it's pretty cool, and just seeing their interaction, and they're like night and day. Lifeline, he doesn't want any violence. He's not into any violence. So he actually got punched out by one of the Dreadnoks in that episode, only to be knocked out cold and have Lift Ticket show up and pretty much polish off all the Dreadnoks and cause a bunch of damage to this man's $1 million mansion, and all kind of crazy stuff went on there. So anyway, let's move right along. Let's look a little more at the figure. If you notice the figure from back in the days, his helmet was non-removable, which this one is. If I could just get it off. Jeez. Well, trust me, it is removable. Like I said, it is removable. So anyway, this is his helmet. If you check that out right there. One of the most lost parts on the classic Tomahawk figure is this helmet mic. This one here is actually mounted on, is molded in with the helmet so it doesn't fall off. This helmet looks a lot like the one he was packaged with. Very cool. Let's look a little more at the figure. He's got a figure stand. Lift Ticket. And I believe this figure was actually released in about 2007, 2008, somewhere around there. Probably earlier, maybe. I'm not sure, really, to tell you the truth. But anyway, and this figure was released with a, what do you call those things? Ghost Hawks. Here's his file card. If you wish to pause this and read that, you can pause it right here. So if you look, Lift Ticket has this removable vest here. You can take it apart from there. It's molded with a few pouches, what looks like non-removable lapel mic. He's got some type of a firearm right there, and it's holstered in. It is non-removable. He has a knife here, and that knife is removable, as you see. Awesome. And he's pretty much a plain Jane figure, but really cool. I'm really glad to have this guy in my collection. Arguably one of the coolest characters ever to be released by G.I. Joe. All right, so the correct timeline was he was released with the Ghost Hawk in 2009, but in 2013 we saw this gentleman released with an actual Tomahawk-ish looking vehicle, which was a little more modernized, a little more up to date, and it was known as the Eagle Hawk, and that was through the Retaliation line. Now, the newer version of the Tomahawk, which let's just call it the Eagle Hawk, I actually saw in I think it was Walmart for $19.99 at one point. And unfortunately for me, I was not a collector of modern figures at the time because I fairly recently got into collecting again. I was a fan of these as a child, got rid of them all around the age of 13. And then I picked up collecting again a few years back. But by the time I started collecting again, the Eagle Hawk was long gone, and you can find it online for upwards of $200 at this point. But for me, I'm not a big fan of vehicles. I think the actual the action figures I like to keep, but not necessarily the vehicles. The vehicles are a little too much. They take up a little too much space, and I've been more of a minimalist over the last few years. So anyway, this was the gentleman they released with that Eagle Hawk, and you know, he is very cool. Look at this uniform. I really like the way they put this guy together. For me, that is definitely going to be Lift Ticket. This guy's name is Lift Ticket too, but I like that one as Lift Ticket just because of the nostalgia that it brings back from when I was a kid. But then you got this gentleman here who is really cool, but doesn't say Lift Ticket to me. He says random army builder, helicopter pilot. And that's kind of what I did here. I swapped head sculpts with a Marauder figure. It worked pretty nicely. And there you have my two army builder helicopter pilots. Now, the equipment they were released with, they have these headsets. Let me show you these for the crew of the Eagle Hawk. And that's pretty much what those headsets look like. Very nicely done. Just molded in green plastic, but they actually fit over the figures' heads really nicely. So, see, there you have it. That looks pretty cool, right? And that is for the crew of the Eagle Hawk. Not Tomahawk, but Eagle Hawk. Let's stand him right there. He was released with this assault rifle. It looks like a real world assault rifle, but I'm not sure on the name. There you have it. And my favorite part of these guys were these helmets. Look at these things. Really cool. So let's put them on. And this is what he looks like with his helmet on. There you have it. Why the original 2009 Tomahawk was not released with the Eagle Hawk? I'm sorry, I misspoke. Why the 2009 version of Lift Ticket was not released with the Eagle Hawk in 2013? I'm not sure. I don't know what their thought process was to just go on and create new characters, maybe licensing or something with the figure. I don't know, But ultimately, this figure is pretty cool. This one I recognize more as my Lift Ticket, and if I ever get my hands on a Eagle Hawk or a Tomahawk, then this is going to be Lift Ticket, and he is going to be the pilot of my Eagle/Tomahawk. Right? These two guys will be my backup pilots. Whatever, however you decide you want to do this. But ultimately, very nicely done, Hasbro. Very nicely done on all of these figures here. And if you see them out in the wild, get your hands on them. They're really cool, very nice for the nostalgia of it. There's another figure that was released around the same time as this gentleman, also with a Ghost Hawk aircraft, if you will, and his name was Tomahawk. And maybe later on down the line I can do a video on that guy. I'm not sure. Maybe. I don't know. But anyway, with that being said, if you guys have any questions on these or comments, feel free to put them down below. I'll get to them at my earliest convenience. Like I said, it goes without saying here, these figures are really cool. The middle being Lift Ticket is very good for nostalgia. The other two figures in the background are also Lift Tickets, and it depends on what you're into, but I really like them for like a random army building helo pilot force. So with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. I've taken up enough of your time. Thank you again. Have a great weekend, and I appreciate that you guys are sitting here and discussing figures with me. All right, so with that being said, I'm out. Peace.